It never happened. And they know it never happened. They had information from a foreign government saying it's not true, and they never told the court. They never corrected all the misinformation in the dossier. It was used over and over again, and they never told the court about how unreliable it was. Is that a small thing or a big thing? Do you agree with Mr. Horowitz that the dossier was central and essential to the Carter Page FISA warrant application being approved?
I agree that it was important. I can't tell you whether it was essential, and by that I mean that it wouldn't have been granted without the Steele information. In the summer, they asked DOJ whether they would support moving forward on a warrant application.
And they said no, right?
Correct. That's my understanding from the Horowitz report.
Then you add the dossier, all of a sudden they say yes to the warrant application. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's fair to say that DOJ decided to move forward after the Steele information was part of it.
Yes, so I would say that it was essential based on that. Why is Mr. Kleinsmith facing criminal indictment?
I only know what I've read in the public record, that he was accused of
You're
changing.
the director of the FBI. You didn't know that your own agency had information from the CIA verifying what Mr. Page told you, that these contacts had a basis, in fact, because he was working with the CIA. Did you know that Mr. Kleinsmith doctored the email for it to read that there was no association between Page and the CIA, that he changed there was to there was not? How do you feel about that?
I know nothing about Mr. Kleinsmith other than what I've read in the public record.
Well, how do you feel in general about an FBI lawyer doctoring information exculpatory to somebody being surveilled? Who provided the application to the FISA court, and why was it so flawed? Can you give me a group of people we can look at to hold accountable for misleading the court? Who should we be looking at?
To understand the process in general, and in this case, you would start with the Horowitz report.
But you don't know, as the director of the FBI, who actually prepared the application. Is that correct?
I do not.
So in October, it's clear, Mr. Comey, there was no effort to verify the dossier before it was given to the court. Do you agree with that?
I don't know the answer.
Well, that's the answer.
I don't remember learning anything additional about Steele's sources between.
How can it be, Mr. Director, that the FBI finds in its file that the man that prepared the dossier for Steele was suspected of being a threat to national security, and it doesn't make it up to you?
I don't know. I could speculate, but I don't know. I haven't spoken to the
I don't want you to speculate. We'll try to figure this all out ourselves. Were you aware that in December 2016, the CIA tells the FBI they characterized the dossier as internet rumor?
I don't recall being informed of that.
Are you aware of the fact that the subsource was actually interviewed by the FBI in January 2017?
I don't remember anything about interviews of the subsource.
So, as the director, was this an important case for the FBI, or is this kind of a run-of-the-mill thing?
The overarching investigation was very important. The Page slice of it, far less. Given
well, I mean, you have a sitting president of the United States by January 2017. You have a dossier that's salacious as hell, that accuses the president of being involved in all kind of sex escapades in Russia. Do you agree that's pretty important information concerning the reliability of the dossier?
It's information that should be weighed in light of a variety of circumstances.
It's inherently exculpatory. The person who put the document together is telling the FBI, it's bar talk, it's grain of salt. They tell the FBI. And they keep using the same document. You have a document central to getting a warrant against an American citizen. It is falling apart. The CIA says it's internet rumor. The person who prepared it was on a jihad against Trump on the payroll of the Democratic Party. The primary subsource was a Russian agent. When that person was interviewed by the FBI, he disavowed the reliability of the document to the point that it should never have been used again. And my question is, how could the system ignore all that, and how could it be used again in April and again in June? Do you know how that's possible?
Okay. I think Mr. Horowitz found that it was not disclosed, and a variety of facts were not disclosed. He didn't find intentional misconduct, but he found concerning failures to disclose. Conclusion that they should have informed.
How could the director of the FBI not know all of this? How is it possible that the system gathers so much exculpatory information? It's internet rumor, according to the CIA, that the actual interview of the subsource disavows the reliability of the document, that the actual subsource was a suspected Russian spy. How could all that happen and not get up to you, the director of the FBI? All the information found about the dossier made it less reliable, not more reliable, and you kept using it again and again and again. And the question was their bias. At what point in time do you put two and two together? That the people behind this hated Trump, and the reason they ran all these stop signs, they didn't want to take no for an answer. It never happened. And they know it never happened. They had information from a foreign government saying it's not true, and they never told the court. They never corrected all the misinformation in the dossier. It was used over and over again, and they never told the court about how unreliable it was. Is that a small thing or a big thing?
Anytime there are material omissions in an application to a judge of any kind, but especially in an ex parte proceeding, it's a very important issue.
Did you have a duty to look at any allegations regarding Clinton and Russia?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, you say you had a duty to look at allegations about the Trump campaign being involved with the Russians. You've got a letter now from Radcliffe saying that they intercepted information about an effort in July where Hillary Clinton approved an effort to link Trump to Russia, the mob. Did you have an investigation to look and see whether that was true?
I can't answer that. I've read Mr. Radcliffe's letter, which frankly I have trouble understanding.
Okay. Thank you very much.